In session. This is the Draft Seminar Rookie Profile Series hosted by Matt Hicks, the FF Educator, and I am joined by John Laub, the Gridiron Scholar. This is the Christian Watson Rookie Profile episode. We will be digging into the wide receiver out of North Dakota State. John, before we do that, I want to make sure folks know that this entire series is simulcast on the Rookie Big Board podcast channel, the Rookie Big Board YouTube channel, and of course on the NFL Draft Bible podcast network. You can get my full rookie analysis and rankings at patreon.com/theFFeducator, and you can find more of John's work at footballdiehards.com. John, Christian Watson, he was going to be one of my sleepers, John, but now folks have caught on. And I think the NFL community has caught on as well, because I think he's going to end up being a higher selection than I even want to say out loud right now. This is an exciting prospect. Let's jump right in.
Matt, he's definitely no longer a sleeper. And when we previewed him on our Senior Bowl preview show, he was basically, a no-name. Only some diehards like us and maybe some casual North Dakota fans really knew of him, but we said he has a chance here. And right now, I've even heard rumors that there are some teams that might have him as a first-round pick. I'm not that bullish on him, so I tend not to believe the first-round draft capital, but I do think second round is more than fair, and people might be shocked when he goes off on this in the second round. But Matt, it was a stupendous Senior Bowl performance. You and I talked about it. We needed to see him compete against top-level cornerbacks in one-on-one drills. And then I watched the Senior Bowl game. You know what? He proved a lot to me in those drills and in the game itself. And then it really comes down to the combine. And Matt, what can I say? He was stupendous. Vertical broad jumps, explosion, agility. And then he ran a 4.36. Let me repeat, a 4.36 at 6'4", 208 pounds. Matt, he checks so many boxes when you plug him in. Now, I don't have a first-round grade, but he's in my top 10 now, and I definitely see him going off way earlier than the casual fan believes. We go back to last year. At North Dakota, he was second-team All-American, first-team Hero Sports All-American at wide receiver. And here's one of the keys to Christian Watson. He was second-team Stats Perform All-American as an all-purpose player. Matt, he's very versatile. He's going to get on the field a lot sooner than people expect, because he can offer teams so many options to place him on the field. And last year was his best year statistically. 43 catches, 801 yards, and 7 touchdowns. But then you go back to 20 to 21. Remember, my friends, the Bisons only played one game in the fall, and we were a little depressed because we didn't get to see Trey Lance. The FCS played in the spring of last year. They were literally on the football field last year at this time in March. So they had a strange season. At the end, he was first-team All-American kickoff returner and first-team All-Missouri Valley Football Conference. He's a wide receiver and return specialist, Matt, and here's where the versatility. He returned 2 kicks for touchdowns. He's immediately day one special teamers for an NFL team. No question in my mind. In 2017, he had a redshirt season for the Bisons. So if you're looking for the early breakout, he's not going to pop in your model, because he's a senior who really made a big difference in the last 12 months. But all the athleticism is here. And here's what I find fascinating. In his career for the Bisons, 49 carries, 392 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. 26 kick returns, 686 yards, and 2 scores. He's a 5-time All-Missouri Valley Conference champion, and he played on 4 Missouri Valley Conference and FCS championship teams. He's a winner. He's ready to play from day one. He has the athletic ability and the speed. Matt, what does your film study say about Christian Watson?
Yeah, John, let's start right there with the speed. He certainly plays fast. It's not just a good 40 time. I think acceleration is key. Running in a straight line along the boundary is a really impressive thing to watch from Christian Watson. And it makes me confident he can dominate along the boundary and well into the deep field at the next level. I've said this before, so the listeners who are loyal and consistent with us, it probably sounds like a broken record, but the first time I watched Christian Watson tape, I was just ripping through tape. I was on a grind. I didn't look up his measurables beforehand. I was like, all right, let's check out this Christian Watson guy. And I'm watching him run around the field, John, moving east to west, running downfield. And I'm like, man, this guy's cool, but he's got to be like 5'10", $190 the way he's moving around the field. Look up his measurables, John, and my jaw just drops. We talked about him. He's a big man, right? His contested catch ability is really fantastic. You see some examples of his ability to go up and win the ball and have a good vertical and catch the ball through concentration. You see some of that on his North Dakota tape. But John, go back and folks who may have access to it, probably not everybody does, but I was fortunate to have access to the Senior Bowl tape, the practice tape, and you could see Christian Watson just absolutely dominate some of these defensive backs. And there's a good defensive back class, right? And so, we're watching him, be NFL level talent and consistently do it. So he has great contested catch ability, good athleticism. He's a fluid player for his size. You mentioned his special team ability. North Dakota State got the ball in his hands. They worked him on end arounds. They gave him screens at the line of scrimmage. He displays good short area quickness. Now, he has a limited route tree, right? And he's not the most technically refined route runner. I think part of that comes with what he was asked to do at North Dakota. But I think, he may be one of these NFL players that's not asked to do as much at the next level, but can be really good at what he is asked to do. And we've seen those players be able to contribute for fantasy football purposes. John, let's dig a little bit more into that stat box.
First thing you're going to notice, you're not going to be in love with his production model. 105 receptions, but Matt, let's put it into context. If you've watched as much North Dakota State as I have, they are basically the Alabama of the FCS level. And I would argue that they're better than like the bottom 20 teams in the FBS level. Like they would beat UConn, and I'm a UConn fan. So North Dakota State is a good football team. They bring in good recruits, they coach them up, and they're ready for the NFL, those who get drafted. But the Bisons are a running football team. Matt, they play good defense and they run the football. They run gap, they run zone, they run power. They have a multitude of ways to run the football down your throat. They pass when down and distance dictates it, or they're playing from behind, which is not much. Why do I say all that? Watson has 105 career receptions. He's not going to have 200 receptions in the North Dakota State offense. It's just not going to happen. But what does pop, Matt? A 20.4 yards per catch. That's incredible. That's the speed. That's the home run, the yak totals. They take a lot of deep shots. I believe Christian Watson right away, you can put him on the field in 4 receiver formations, Matt, and just tell him to run a 9 route. Like, just go, young man. Like, he can run that. He can get open deep. 16 career touchdowns. Now, I couldn't find catch percentage at the FCS level, but I do have Team Aerial Dominator. He had a 35%, which is impressive for a run-first offense. It is about the athleticism. And, Matt, we have to listen to the NFL scouts. They like him a lot. I do think a team's going to fall in love with this tape. They're going to find ways to use him. And you know who I keep thinking? He reminds me of a Raider. Like they're going to fall in love with the speed. Like he's just got a second round Las Vegas Raiders draft pick all over him in my book. I like Watson a lot. What your fantasy footballers know, Chris?
All right. So, John, I currently have him as a day 2 late selection, which is 50 to 102. And so, again, it would not surprise me, John, if he ends up being in the top 50. I don't think I can reasonably project that with confidence, though. So I have him as a day 2 late selection. That's still a very good spot for a wide receiver in terms of draft capital. So that's speaking volumes to Christian Watson coming out of North Dakota State. And for us to be able to confidently project right now that he will be drafted within the first 2 days of the NFL draft. He starts off for me in that flex filler conversation, a wide receiver 3, top 36 potential. You look at his ability to score touchdowns, John. I think that is going to be a key piece. Will we be able to project him into an offense where he can stretch the field and be targeted in the red zone? That's going to be a really critical part of his fantasy football upside. I have a rookie ADP projection right now as a mid-round 2 selection. That will be a rise from where it is now. I would say now I'm seeing Christian Watson go more early round 3 in my rookie mocks, a late round 2. But I do think he will end up being a mid-round 2 rookie ADP because, again, I think some folks may be shocked at just how soon he comes off the board. And John, I'm going to get him wherever I can. I'm going to pencil myself in for a high exposure to Christian Watson. I think he really, has the ability to even still be a value. We can't call him a sleeper anymore, I know, but I still think he's going to be a really good value. And of course, landing spot will be important with Christian Watson, but certainly somebody that I'm heading into the NFL draft very, very excited about, John. Just like I hope all of our listeners are excited every week for another 4 rookie profiles. They will continue to hit your podcast or YouTube feed. So make sure you're subscribed, whether you're watching, whether you're listening, because as always, we appreciate you checking out this